All of you start doing these questions. So once you're done doing the question, raise your hand Zoom. Actually, there's only 4 questions, so I think 8 minutes is enough. Anyways, start doing the question. Once you're done, raise your hands. If majority is done before 5:20, I think 5:15, so you can finish it. If majority is done earlier, then we'll discuss it. Yeah. Quick call. Those who done with the question, raise their hands. Oh. I can see 22 hands up, brothers. Okay, let's check your answers now. Yes, hi, hi, hi. Okay, let's start. Sorry. Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam. Your voice is very low. Yeah, I'm speaking a bit. Oh no, Zoom has reduced my volume. Okay, now my volume is normal. I don't know why Zoom reduced the volume, but yeah, that. Okay, let's start now. Why is it Shasa? Your voice sounds rough. Yeah, because I have a bit of cold. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I didn't still check. Shada, I'll check, I'll check, I'll check, I'll check. Okay, let's start. Okay, so the question says write down two advantages of computerized database management system. Okay, first of all, let me get the writing book as well. Dun, 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 dun. So this is the question number 7. Okay, so they asked two advantages of using a computerized database management system. Now, when you take database is something we use to store data. Okay, database is something we use in order to store data. And then the type of application we use to store these data is what we call as a DBMS. So DBMS is mainly referring to the type of application that we use to create database, to what do you call it, create tables inside those database, right? To delete those database, basic to manage database, the type of application we use is DBMS. Like for example, the type of application we use to take photos is camera. The type of application we use to send messages normally we call them instant messaging application. So these are like categories, right? The type of applications we use to create those Excel files, we call them as spreadsheet applications. Likewise, DBM is basically referring to the type of applications used to create and manage your databases. So the question is asking, right, to advantage of using a computerized database management system. Now, in order to create database, basically manage database, you can have it in two forms. You can basically create or manage your database in two forms. Basically, you can store data in two forms. One is you can store these data in a computerized way, which is where you use a computer, and on the computer you're going to store the data, all those stuffs. And the other one is without using a computer, and that is what we call as a manual database. Generally, when you take manual database, the data is stored on papers. When you take a manual database, in general, it's stored on papers. That's how a manual database works. Okay. So rather than storing data on papers, when you store data on computer, there are some advantages we can get. So this question is asking about what are those advantages. Okay. One of the advantage we can say is, let's say in terms of, yeah, correct. In terms of retrieving means obtaining data from the database. Okay. So in terms of retrieving data comparatively, which is fast, manual database or computerized database? Retrieving means obtaining data from the database. Like let's say imagine you have a bill book. Okay. And this bill book has a collection of bills. Let's say I want to find out what is the name of the customer. Okay, I want to find the name of the customer who has bought, let's say, a specific shoe. Let's say this is a shoe shop and we are selling shoe, and I want to know the name of the customer who bought a specific shoe. Okay. So let's say I'm going to have all these in a bill book, going through the bill book page by page, going through the bill book and finding out the name of the customer who has bought that shoe. Okay. Is that faster? Or if I have a computerized database, imagine, for example, even Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, I have all the data of every, what do you call, employee, every customer who has purchased, their name and what they purchased. All these data are stored in a computerized database. In which one can I find it fast? Through an Excel sheet, okay, through a, let's say, a spreadsheet, I can find the data faster. Or else, can I find the data faster through this bill book? Exactly. Through the bill book, I can find the data faster. You know, majority of this, sorry, using the spreadsheet, I can find the data faster. Bill book is comparatively slow. So the reason why you can find spreadsheet fast is mainly you have this the find tool, right? So using the find tool, it's comparatively fast. Okay. So one of the answers you can mention here is, compare a manual database and a computerized database. You can say faster in data retrieval. One of the advantage of using a computerized database is faster in data retrieval, which means you can obtain data comparatively faster. That's one of the advantage we have. I wrote easy to retrieve data. Cut the word called easy and make it efficient, because it's not the point is not about easiness. It's about the speed we are talking about. Because technically in Billbook finding the data is more easy, right? Like you just search 12 pages. You don't have to open a device, all those stuff. So in terms of easiness, it's mainly referred to the speed. Okay. That's one of the advantage we have in a database management system. Another thing is in terms of accuracy in data. One is efficiency in data retrieval. One is accuracy in data retrieval. So when I say fast in data retrieval, I'm talking about the efficiency. Efficiency is talking about the time taken and energy required. Okay. Apart from that, in terms of accuracy, okay, you can say accuracy in data retrieval as well. So what I mean by accuracy in data retrieval is, now, for example, let's say I have a, let's say, for example, you have a list of names, okay, and along with their names, let's say I have something called as your marks as well, name and marks, okay. And what happens is, let's say there are multiple students' names here and the multiple students' marks as well. Let's say there are two students whose names are something very similar. Like, for example, let's say we have a person called, let's say Akif. I'll take. So let's say there's a person called Akif Ruzni, like this. And there's another person called Akif Ruzni, like this. I just took Akif your name because her name was in the chat top itself. Okay. Now, are these both the same person or are these both two different people? Like, look at the name itself and tell me. Exactly, it's different. You can see here, this is Y and this is I. Now, let's say randomly Akif comes and asks, what's my marks? You're going to go through this name list. Okay, you're going to go through this name list. And I'm not saying it will definitely happen, but I'm saying, are there possibilities that when you're going to go through, let's say you have a book, in this book only written all the names and all the marks. So if you're going to go through those book row by row, one by one, and if you're going to find the marks, let's say if this student called Akif Ruzni come with these spellings, this person comes, are there possibilities that by mistakenly you might go and give the wrong marks for this person as 90? Like, are there possibilities? Is it possible to happen? I'm not saying it will definitely happen, but I'm saying if you have a book You're going to go through row by row and find Akif's name and find his mark. As a human, is it possible for you to make a mistake? Yes. As a human, if you're going to go row by row and find the names, you can do a mistake. But without going row by row and finding that, if you have a computer where you can go and type and filter the rows, okay, spreadsheet software, something, you can go and type and filter the row. Now, there, if you type the exact name properly, type the name properly, then are there chances for the software to make errors? Not for human to make errors, but I'm not talking about human, but I'm talking about, is there possibility the software can filter and give the data wrongly? No. So when you're retrieving data, comparatively, in a manual data or what you call a computerized database, the accuracy is also high. So these are two main advantages. Apart from this, certain DBMS, not all the DBMS, but certain DBMS, they allow you to what do you call share the data as well easily. Okay. So I would not recommend writing share easy to share data, but you can write an answer like easy to obtain copies of the data. Easy to obtain. Like for example, let's say you have a file containing all the data. You can make duplicates of those files easily. So easy to obtain copies of the data. So sharing data, if you wrote, it's fine. You can mark it correct. But again, it's limited to certain DBMS applications only. What about data consistency? Data consistency depends on the person. It's not on the database. For example, I can have a computerized database as well with inconsistent data. So we can't tell it's consistent always. Multi-user collaboration, automated backup. Okay, we can mention that as an answer. Ability to access by, again, this is also limited. This is not allowed. This is not available in all the DBMS, but certain DBMS allows this. Ability to access by multiple people at the same time from anywhere. At the same time from anywhere. Again, this is limited to certain DBMS, so I would not recommend these as answers to use generally, but you can have this as limited answers. Can we say it's flexible? How can you define flexible? Easy to obtain backups. That's what easy to obtain copies of data is. Less storage space. Another answer you can mention is it requires less physical storage space. If you just mention the storage space, that's not a complete answers. So to mention requires less physical storage space. That means it's like volume in the environment. Less physical storage space. Like to store the manual data, you might need cupboards and cupboards of space, like rooms and rooms of space. But if it's a computerized database in a small memory card, even you can store all the data. Once data analysis can be carried out efficiently. Data analysis can be carried out efficiently means you can just understand the data better. Like for example, let's say I have a spreadsheet file. Let me just take random data. So let's say, for example, I have a data. Let me import one random data I have. Okay, so basically I have here some data. Okay, I have random data. Okay, so these are several rows, and you can see there's a row called nationality, and you can see there are different like multiple nationalities. So let's say I want to figure out what do you call. Let's say I want to figure out in each country how many records was there. Like forget about what this data set contains, but let's say there are several rows. I want to see what are the unique countries and each country how many rows are there. So if I'm going to manually go and take a if this is recorded in a book, if I'm going to manually go and find, I have to count one by one and do it manually, which is time consuming. But if I have a computerized, what do you call database, I can do it in one shot like this. So now I have the unique countries from here. Okay, let's say I'll just do some small cleaning so it's more proper. Okay, so I have here what you call list of countries. And now what I can do is I can get a count as well. So for example, let's say I put something like this. So now after this, I can just basically using some formulas, I was able to obtain here that out of all the entries that was there, 271 people are from India, or two people are from Portuguese, 152 people from Bangladesh have feel that Google have feel that like have rows containing about Bangladesh people. So to analyze this data, to understand this data, if I'm going to do an analysis of this data, if it's going to be manual data, it's imagine it's a printed document, I had to go through one by one, it's going to be a difficult task. But you can see because I have a computer here, using the computer, I was able to get this whole thing in split seconds. I was able to get in each country how many people have filled that. It's a Google form data actually. I was able to get this in split seconds. Is that clear only? So this is what efficiency in data analysis mean. Perfect. Is it wrong if I didn't mention the word physical? They might not give you marks, so better mention the word called physical. Like you can give marks now, but in exams, it's risky. Don't take the risk. Can access from anywhere. That's what I mentioned. Ability to access by multiple people at the same time from anywhere. So that answer is correct. Data is organized neatly to access them. So you can mention yes, data is organized fine. Again, those are all secondary answers. Like the answers you all are mentioning are not 100% accurate. There are certain answers you all give me which can be argued back. So try as maximum possible not to give an answer that is depending on context. So some answers, and when you say you can data is organized neatly to access them, you can even organize the manual database neatly. Okay. So what do you call be a bit more specific on your like give your answers a bit because when they're asking two answers, like keep those two answers a bit strong answers. Specific data are quickly located and found. That's basically easy to retrieve data. So both are same, you get the marks. What about more convenient? What is more convenient? The answer is half. What about doesn't require large physical space? Yeah, that's what requires less physical storage space. So yeah, I answered all of your questions. What about more convenient computerized system? How is it more convenient? That's what the question is asking. The question is asking, you're like saying, it's like you're saying the computerized database is more advantageous. You can't just say more advantage. You have to say, what is this advantage? So you can't just say it's advantage. You should say, what is advantage? You have to be specific your answer. So just mentioning it's more convenient, it's wrong. More efficient and less manpower needed. For what? You can't just mention more efficient. It should be like, what is efficient there? That's why if you always keep in your mind, your answer sometimes, depending on who's marking your paper, they can mark your answer wrong. So be specific to answer. Don't just say accurate. Don't just say efficient. Tell what is efficient there. Data retrieval is efficient. Accuracy in finding data. So that's how your answers has to be. What about security? We can say it's more secure, but again, those are all secondary answers. I would not give those as primary answers. Okay. So more secured data storage. So in terms of like good answers out of this, if I'm going to tell you all, I'll be like the efficiency is a good efficiency in data retrieval. That's a good answer. Accuracy in data retrieval. That's a good answer. And then requires less physical storage space. That's a good answer. Easy to obtain copies. That's a secondary answer. But in terms of primary answers, I'll be like these three are like very good answers. Others all are fine, not bad. Independence of data. What do you mean independence of data? Even in manual database, your data is independent. Like your data is there separately. It's not relevant to anything outside. So yeah, out of these, if you mention any answers, you can put 1 mark each, total 2 marks there. If you all wrote any incomplete answers, then please complete your answer. Like if you all just mention accuracy, then complete your answer saying accuracy in data retrieval. And I hope all of you are doing the question. Huh? You are supposed to maintain a separate writing book paper class. Oh, sure. I didn't still send you the recording. Sorry. At the end of the class, remind me. Okay, sorry. Can't we use it for both? Yeah, can't we use it for both? Not exactly. It should be a comparison. They will share data. That's what I mentioned. Every access by multiple people. So that's also correct. Next, Roman number 8. Some formatting options available in word processing software are shown below. Write down the options of the follow that have been used with the following sentence formatting. Okay. So first, let's identify the tools given here. Okay. The tool P is referring to the font size. That's the size of the letters basically. And the tool Q, this is representing the bold tool that's used to darken text. And this is talking about the italic tool that's used to slanten a text. And this is talking about the underline tool. That's again just like the name of the tool sounds to draw a line below the text. This is called the strike through tool. Just like the image shows, that is used to make a line go through your text. And you can see there is two tools where you can make any value come in the top or value come in the bottom. It's like index and base. Okay. Like 2 to the power 2 or log, what do you call log base 10. Okay. For base and index. So if you're always confused what is superscript, what is subscript, always think like this. Someone who is better than you, we call him as a super person, right? Like Superman, superior person. So super is always someone who's better than you, like on top. So who's coming on top? That's called the superscript. They're like better. Okay. And the opposite is subscript, which is on bottom. Okay. So if you go through the answers here, some of the changes we can observe. Let's see. One of the change we can observe is the text is slanted. Okay, you can see here the text are straight, here it's slanted. Another change we can obtain here is the text has been darkened. So formatting means changes. Huh? Apart from this, you can see there is a line below the text. Apart from these three, there is nothing else that's prominently visible. Okay, so tell me, yeah, only these three are visible. So based on that, tell me, in order to slant in the text, what is the tool we have to use out of PQRSTUV? I think it's rephrased differently. Only double check on that. I didn't get you. So yeah, what do you mean? Correct. To slant in the text, we can use the tool R, which is the italic tool. And then to darken the text, which tool should we use? Out of PQRSTUV. Perfect. To darken the text, we use the tool Q, is a bold tool. And to draw the line below the text, perfect. It's a tool S. So I think in this question, they're expecting only two formattings. Were you all able to find anything else apart from these three? Was there anything else you all noticed? No. Okay. So out of these three, if you mention at least two answers, then put 1 mark each, total 2 marks there. Okay. Out of the three, if you mention at least two, then put 1 mark each, total 2 marks there. If you mention all three, good. But at least two, you mention 1 mark each, total 2 marks there. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Write down the pseudocode for the following flowchart given below. Okay. Normally, if you're writing pseudocode, we start pseudocode with begin. So here I'm going to mention begin instead of start. Then here we have instruction saying read two integer numbers n1 and n2. Okay. If you take what you called, when you take pseudocode, if you want, you can again write this whole sentence like this. But normally, when you're writing pseudocode, we keep it as simple as possible. So what you can do is you can mention without mentioning read two integer numbers as n1, n2. You can directly mention read n1, comma n2, or you can give any other synonyms as well. So I can mention input n1, comma n2, or I can also mention read n1, comma n2. I'm going to write here input n1, comma n2, but again keep in mind, if you wrote read n1, comma n2, that's also correct. Both are completely fine. Okay, so then. They have not specifically mentioned how many to mention. Yeah, they have not mentioned. That's why I give minimum two because it's a 2 marks question. What about read integer num1 and num2? It's fine, but I mean, you'll get marks obviously. If you use num1, num2, then throughout the whole program, even here you have to use num1, num2. You can't use n1, n2. Huh? The consistency has to be there. Unwanted, Akif. Correct, but unwanted. So after you input the two numbers, you're going to check is n1 greater than n2. Okay, now you can see we have a rhombus here. The most prominent mistake which people do is they mess up finding whether rhombus is relevant to a selection structure or whether rhombus is relevant to a repetition structure. So look at this rhombus and tell me what is your idea. Do you think it's a selection structure or repetition structure? I actually thought how to find it. Is read two integer numbers n1 greater than n2. You can't do like that. You can't combine both together. Is this a selection structure or repetition structure? Correct. It's a selection structure. For those who can't remember how to figure out is it selection structure or repetition structure, but I thought purely something like this. So mostly you might have the what do you call you might have a rhombus used in this kind of a pattern, or you might have a rhombus used in this kind of a pattern. So what I told you all is I was like, imagine there are two people, okay, one person going in the yes direction, one person going in the no direction, right? So if one person walks in the yes direction and the other person walks in the no direction in both this, just keep in your mind, if they meet, they're selected. It's like, for example, you're searching for someone, you're searching. If you meet them, they're selected for something. If you don't meet, you're keeping on searching and you never meet. So you're keeping on doing something means it's repetition. So for example, if you look at this first diagram I showed you all here, if this person goes to this instruction and then this instruction, and the second person goes to this instruction, you can see both of them meets here. So if both of them go in two different directions and meet at another point, then it's like a selection structure. But if this fellow is going to go in this direction, he comes here and here. And the second fellow, if he's going to go in the down direction, you can see he's going there, and he's again coming here. So he's keeping on rotating in these places. He's not going to meet the other fellow. So if they don't meet, it's repetition structure. So I taught this in detail in one of the several previous classes. So I just give a rough summary now. If you look at this diagram given here as well, you can see if you come for the S instruction, you come here. After we come here, we'll again come here. If you go the no direction, you come here. And after you go here, you can see again meeting here. So because they are meeting, it's selection. Okay. So in pseudocode, for selection structure, we have the if statement. So you mention the word called if. And after the word called if, you mention the condition. So here I'm going to mention if n1 is greater than n2, because that's the condition mentioned. In the if condition, after you have the word called if, you mention the condition, and then you mention the word called then. After the word called then, we mention what to do if the condition is true. Now in this question, if the condition is true, we have to follow the yes part or the no part. Which one represents the idea of true? Yes or no? Which direction represents the idea of true? Correct. True means yes. So if n1 is greater than n2, then you have to print first is greater. So you can use a word called print, or you can use a word called display. You can use a word called output. Any synonym is fine. I hope you all know the meaning of the word called synonym. So if you use any synonym, it's completely fine. So I'm going to mention it display first is greater. first is greater. So below this, you can mention all other instructions we have to follow if the condition is true. Okay. And if you have only one instruction, you can directly mention here. And then we have write the word called else. After else, we mention what to do if the condition is false. So here false is represented by no. So if it's false, you have to reply. So your display. Second is greater than or equal. So I'm going to mention it else display. Second is greater or equal. Whenever you start a if condition, we'll close it with the end if as well. That's important. And then the program ends with end. That's how it goes. So what changes in the pseudocode if it's a repetition structure? Depending on the repetition structure, you have to figure out is it a while loop or a repeat until loop. If it's a while loop, we don't use the word called if there. We might use the word called while. So if then else is a selection structure. If it's a repetition structure, we have the while and while. So while do and while or repeat until. We can't directly write first is greater. What do you mean by directly write first is greater? Without the word called display? You can't. Imagine someone telling me that they don't know what's the meaning of synonym. Then you will become an English teacher like you did in the last class. I actually was thinking, will some idiot come and tell in the chat, sir, can we put this, can we put display, can we put output, can we put print? And then I'm going to score that fellow. I was imagining that will any idiot come and tell that? Thankfully, no one told. I was like, okay, these buggers understood English. I'm not going to waste time explaining the meaning of it. I got the first line only wrong. Will I get marks? Mostly how they'll give marks is like this. For this whole thing, if you got it correct, you get 1 mark. And if you get this part correct, they might give 1 mark. Again, it depends from person to person, but this is one of beginner and it's not a big deal. Or I'll break that into more begin and as well. So for begin half marks, for end half marks. Sorry, begin and then you get half marks. Let's say if you had mentioned begin as well as end, for that half marks. Total 2 marks there. Any questions up in the chat? Let's go for the next one. Match the description label P to S with the correct terms label or the correct terms from the list of terms given below and write down the relevant term against each label in the label dash term format. Okay, so they're asking a matching basically. They match the PQRS with these values given at the bottom. Okay, so they're given FTP, SMTP, URL, IP address, IAA, trash, draft, SAS. Used for electronic mail exchange among mail servers on the internet. Okay, out of the given answers here, what is used to exchange emails between email servers? It's a direct answer. What is a protocol? It's a protocol actually. What's the protocol used to exchange emails? Perfect. That's the SMTP protocol. Basically, this whole paper is a collection of past papers. If you have the people who did this exam, if it's a Royal College paper, Royal Institute paper, if you have done if you have done like past papers before you went for the exams, you can get marks. Like all these questions I see, nothing is new. Every question I saw did here is there in some past paper. Provide access to the software installed in the cloud. Okay. So when you're using softwares, you can download and use in your computer, or without downloading and using, you can even use it through your browser. Okay, if you have internet connection, you can use it through your browser. So how do you call those softwares where without downloading and using them, you can actually use it through your browser? Like for example, Google Sheets. Then Canva has a online editing version. Like there are several applications you can use through your browser itself online. Perfect. We call them as software as a service. It's one of the cloud computing services. Folder to store mails that are composed to be sent. Composed means you have typed but not completed, not completed yet. Okay, which means you have typed the message but you have not sent it yet. Those are there in which section in the email. Okay, email has certain section: inbox, spam, all those stuffs, right? Okay, inbox, that's used to store the messages you have received. Email has a section called spam to store the unwanted messages or the suspicious messages. Email has a section called, let's say, trash to store the deleted messages. I mean, deleted emails. And then your email has a message section called sent. These are used to store the messages that you have sent to others. And then finally, we have a message section called draft. So draft has a typed but not sent messages. So you have typed those messages, but you have not still sent it to the other person. So here they have mentioned something like that. You have typed it but not yet sent. Let's come inside draft. Exactly, Hannah. So that comes under draft. Then what is regarding in email? What do you mean regarding? Where did you see that word called regarding? In the application? In past paper? Let me know the exact word because I have to check what the whole sentence is. Okay. Used to uniquely identify a computer on the internet. Okay. Every computer has something unique that we can use to identify it. What is that? It's an address. What address? Perfect. It's the IP address. In terms of uniquely identifying stuffs, okay, in terms of uniquely identifying stuffs, okay, in terms of unique identifiers, tell me to identify every resource on the internet or every web page on the internet, what can we use to uniquely identify every web page on the internet or to uniquely identify, because web page is also a resource basically. So uniquely identify any web page or else a resource on the internet, what can we use? Perfect. We use something called as a URL, uniform resource locator, like unique resource locator. Then to uniquely identify websites on the internet. A website means a collection of web page. Huh? A website contains a collection of web pages. So uniquely identify a website, what do you use? Now, for example, if I ask you go to YouTube website, go to Master Online website, or go to Google website, how will you identify Google? How will you identify YouTube? Using their correct. Every website will have a unique domain name. So use the domain name, you can identify those websites. Okay. And then in order to uniquely identify a computer on the internet, what do we have? You have it, no, Surya. Perfect. In order to identify every computers on the internet, we use the IP address. So keep these in your mind when it comes to unique stuffs. Okay. So in this question, you can put half marks each. Okay. All of you, let me know your marks out of 2, 4, 6, 8. If you have any questions, drop your question in the chat. Others, let me know out of 8 marks, how many marks you have got. Okay, perfect. Those who have the lesson number three tute, you can do the question on the tute itself. Others, I'll give you two. It's 6-2 now. At 6-5, I'll discuss these two questions. Quickly do these two questions. Those who have the tute, it's on page 11. Third lesson tute. Quickly do this question. I'll give time till around 6-5. I'll put your hands down. So once you're done with this question, raise a hand in Zoom. 7, Gaussian. Third lesson tute, Yumna. The internet and email. In that, this is the page 10, law 11. Once you're done with both the question, raise a hand in Zoom. Actually, the tute is there in the group, Harlik. Maybe share this. I share this paper in the group. Okay, your time's up. Let's check your answer. Tidin, tidin, tidin. Nope, Rushta. Okay, right to advantage of using cloud computing in word processing. Okay, they're not asking in general the advantage of using cloud computing, but they're being more specific of using cloud computing in word processing. Okay, so normally in terms of word processing, the application we use is Microsoft Word, the application we download and use. Okay, but in alternative to Microsoft Word, there's an application called Google Docs, and Google Docs actually uses cloud computing, meaning you don't have to download and install the application. You can use it through your browser. Okay. So by using Google Docs or else even Microsoft Word has something called Microsoft Word 365. That is an online version you can use. So by using that, there are some advantages you can get. So they're asking that advantage. One of the advantage, first of all, tell me, we're not saving the files. Are those files saved on our local computer? Like on our, now, exam in my laptop, I'm going to go to Google Docs and I'm going to type a file. So the data that's being saved, is it going to save on my computer? No. So you can address that. So you can say doesn't require doesn't require a local storage space or doesn't require storage space on our computer. So you can mention that as an answer. Doesn't require local storage space. Right. Another answer is basically in terms of sharing the data files. Comparatively, is what's more convenient in sharing files? Is it easy to share a file through Google Docs or Microsoft Word? Which one is it more convenient if you have used? Yeah. When you're sharing through Google Docs, you can generate something very easily. What is that? Correct. You can generate something called as a shareable link. Okay. You can now, for example, if you're using Microsoft Word, using Microsoft Word, if I'm going to share the file, I have to share the file, I have to share the document. But in Google Docs, I don't have to share the document file. I can just share a link. So anytime a person goes and clicks on that link, the file will get auto updated. So you can mention that as what do you call easy to share, easy to share with others. Okay, you can mention easy to share with others. Another one you can mention is ability with others in real time. Easily share with others. Ability to access the file from anywhere at any time. The file from anywhere at any time. So you can mention easily share changes with others in real time. Share changes with others in real time. So what I mean by changes with others in real time is, for example, let me open a Word doc, a Google Doc. Okay. So currently I have a Google Doc open here. I just open the same document, a different tab as well. Okay. So both the same document I have here. And let's say I'm going to go and make some changes here. Like I go and type here the word called hello world. Okay, just go and type some random text here. So the text I type here, you can see it's showing here in real time. I can split the screen and show. It shows in real time. There will be a small few seconds delay. Okay, so I have here both the screens. So let's say from my left side screen, I'm going to type it. Okay, left side screen, I'm going to type it. Whatever I type here, within few seconds, it's being updated there. Okay. Now here both are my laptop, but this can be two different people who are different living here in two different countries. It'll get updated in real time. See? So that's what we call as easy to share changes with others in real time. So these are some advantage you can actually mention. Cost saving, advanced security. Advanced security, no. Cloud computing has less security. It's not more security. Again, keep in mind, hacking is possible because of internet. If you don't have internet, hacking is merely impossible. The main reason we can do hacking itself is because internet exists. So if you're working with internet, the ability for hacking is high, not less. So you can't tell it's advanced security. That's completely wrong. Okay, files in a local storage is more secure than a cloud server. In terms of cost saving, it depends on the application. There are some free and open source application you can download and install as well. So in terms of cost, actually local computing applications are cheaper than cloud computing. So that's also wrong. Cost is not cheap. Can we write to store documents and to use the app without downloading? To store documents and use the app without downloading. Not to store documents and to use the app without downloading. You can mention the part, only the bottom part. You can say ability to use the application without downloading. What are the disadvantage? Requires a internet connection. The disadvantage requires internet connection. That's the only main disadvantage. Accessibility, that's what I mentioned. Ability to access the file from anywhere at any time. I just wrote saying multiple people can make changes from completely different places at the same time. Yeah, it's correct. I wrote ability to hack. How can ability to hack become an advantage, man? Where is your head? Like, seriously? Advantage? Hacking is an advantage? Is sustainability wrong? How is it sustainable? You have to tell how it's sustainable. Still, it's an advantage, Gautam. So out of these answers, if you all mention any two answers, you can be 1 mark each, 22 marks there. Okay. If you have any other answers, drop in the chat. I checked all the chats. I don't think I missed any. Sorry. Each of the items in column A of the following table can be matched with column B. Okay, it's basically matching. So out of the given answers, domain name, they have given a URL here. More than column is the domain. It's like a mostly like it has a www part as well. So yeah, this is the domain name given. Search engine, we have Yahoo here. Apart from Yahoo, there are other search engine providers as well. What is the famous search engine provider we have currently? The most popular search engine. I know data doesn't get deleted easily and gets auto-saved. Gets auto-saved. You can do that in local computing as well. Data doesn't get deleted easily. Actually, no. If you take local computing, you have more this one for the file. You have more authority over the file because it's in your device. If you want, you can go and delete. No one else can delete. But let's say if you're using Google Drive, imagine someone went and burnt all Google server, your files are gone for 6 years. So you have more authority to your file when it's with you, not with the cloud. So that's wrong. There is no such requirements to install the application. That's correct. Is access and resource similar to file? Is access and resources similar to file? Eh? What do you mean? What do you mean by is access and resources similar to file? Sorry. Correct. Google is the most famous search engine we have. Sorry. Then out of the given answers, a web browser, Google Chrome is a web browser, and this is a stage of web development process. It's maintenance. Technically, they have talked about the stage of the SDLC, one of the stage. So the last stage of SDLC is maintaining. So yeah, we got these answers correct. Half marks each, 22 marks there. It's actually a half marks question, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, tell me out of 2 marks here, 2 marks, a total 4 marks. How out of 4 marks, how many marks you got? Sorry. Good, 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 good. Okay. Others, if you have any questions, drop in the chat. Sorry. Re in subject box stands for regarding. Regarding means like what is the email about? Sorry, Shasana. Like what is the email about? It's like heading of the email. I think in well to read this question, but again, all of you all just make sure you're done with this as well. I'll give you 2, 4, 6. 6 minutes is too much. I'll give around 5 minutes to this question. Okay. Hmm. Sorry. Shazdan, I got it. The RE stands for regarding. Like what's the email about? Like heading. I want to put all of your hands down. So those who are done with these 3 questions, raise a hand in Zoom. We reached the word to there in the class around week before the last. No, I mean 1 week before we completed the third lesson. Then why subject is there? These are different names like subject, heading, regarding. We call them a subject, but when you go to what do you call an email application, the word subject won't be there sometimes. Without the word called subject, it will show the word called RE, regarding. It's just 2 terms. Yes, the third one we did, not the first two. Anyways, all of you do this question once done with all three raise hands. So what's the purpose, Rushta? Online we have one lesson front. It's not parallel. So it's used as coming physical at the moment. In Vellavath, we are going to start the fourth lesson next week. I mean tomorrow. In what do you call online? We have half of the yeah, Gauss, and that'll be good enough. It was supposed to go yesterday, so yeah. But then it might go tomorrow morning. Yes. I'll check in because there was a small delay. Don't know, help make sure it comes to Zoom. Mention a disadvantage in cloud computing. The main problem we have in cloud computing is it requires a connection. What connection? You should choose one. Don't come middle for both. Yes, it requires a stable or a constant internet connection. Because if you don't have a proper internet connection, then you will not be able to obtain majority of the cloud computing services properly. So the requirement of a stable internet connection is the disadvantage we have. Yeah, what to do? Unauthorized person can access sometimes. People can access sometimes. I mean, if you phrase it like that, it's not proper. The correct way to phrase it will be like the possibility for unauthorized access. Okay. So you can't just tell it definitely happen, killer, we can't tell. But possibility for your data to get hacked or data to get leaked. Again, those are secondary access. Easy to hack, not easy to hack, possible to hack. Because technically it's not easy. It's a bit hard, but the problem is it's possible. So you can mention that the answer, but I would not recommend that as a main answer. The main answer I would ask you is talk about the internet connection. Possibility of data getting stolen, correct. Unable to access without internet connection, correct. So if you mention anything regarding the word called internet connection, you mark your answer correct, put 1 mark there. Even if you mention about that hacking part, it's fine, but keep that as a secondary answer always. Huh? Mention two word processing softwares which uses cloud computing concept. The one of the famous software that uses cloud computing concept, famous word processing software that uses is Google Docs. I told you a while ago. And I told you, apart from Docs, even Microsoft Word has the option. And that version of Microsoft Word, we call that as Microsoft Word 365. So Microsoft Office 365 or Microsoft Word 365, both are correct. MS Word 365, that's also correct. Okay, so Microsoft Office Word 365 or MS Word 365, anything is correct. I put MS Word web version. Cut that word. You can give marks, but cut that word called web version and put Microsoft Word 365. There's a name for that. It's called 365. Next, Mr. DB Jayasundara, the purchasing manager. So we have DB Jayasundara, the purchasing manager in a five-star company, sent an email to his sales manager. This should be sales manager, not sales manager, Mr. Johan, and copied that email to Mr. AJ Silva, who is a superior and top machinery company. Okay. And then the subject of the email is mentioned as manufacturing. Okay, so subject is mentioned as manufacturing productions, it seems. And he sent a hidden copy of the email to Mr. Sumit, who is a mechanic of his company. Okay, they ask me fill in the blanks basically. So in terms of subjects normally refers to the heading of the email, and here directly they have mentioned the subject is basically manufacturing productions. So that's a direct answer. So I'll just write the answer here. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Four is talking about manufacturing productions. Manufacturing productions. Okay. Yes, Saman, but I'm just doing it again. Now, in terms of 1, 2, 3, the two CC and BCC, all these are representing the receivers. When you take email receivers, we can classify email receivers into three categories. One is 2, one is CC, and one is BCC. Okay. So let me show you how this categorization work. Okay. If you take email receivers, you can classify it into three categories, but I'll show the breakdown. The main breakdown is I can first of all classify them into two main categories. The two main categories are first of all I'll address as the main receiver and the copy receiver. Right. And then in the copy receiver, there are two types of copies you can get. One is visible copy and one is hidden copy. So let me explain you how this works. Now, for example, let's say we have WhatsApp group. And let's say we have made a WhatsApp group for some event, okay, some team, or let's say some group. I have asked you all to do some group work. And for that group work, you'll have WhatsApp group. And I have told you all that in all these WhatsApp group, I also have to be a member just to observe what's happening within the group, just to make sure that I monitor what you all are doing and what you all are doing. I'm going to be there as a member, but I'm not going to be a participant. I'm just going to be a member. You know. So what happens is, let's say I am there in that group. And let's say apart from me, I'll just add two people's names. Okay, let's put Akib as one member. Let's put Mahadi as another person. They can chat somewhere. Let's say Haizam is another person. We have three participants in this group. These three people are doing a group event. Okay. Now, let's say there is a messaging happening in the group, and Haizam is sending a message to Akif saying, what do you call do this portion of the assignment or create this part of the presentation. Kira. Haizam is tagging Akif and sending a message. Now, when Haizam tag Akif and send the message in the group, okay, when Haizam is tagging Akif and sending a message in the group, is Haizam expecting a reply from me? He's tagging Akif and he's being like, do this part of the assignment or something. And he's saying, so is he expecting a reply from me? No. Is he expecting a reply from Mahadi? Yeah. Give me a moment, guys. Sorry, the interruption. No. So he is expecting a reply mainly from Akif, right? So when you're sending email as well, there are certain people you're mainly expecting reply from. Okay, it can be one person, it can be multiple people. So the people you're mainly expecting email, you're mainly expecting a reply from, we had their email address in front of this to section. Okay. If you notice the email platform, you can see in front of this word called to, you can mention multiple people's email address. If you want, you can mention one, you can mention two, three, there is no limit. So all the people you are expecting a reply from, you mostly mention their email address in front of the to section. Okay. Now, apart from that, there are certain communications that happening. We want some other people to see it, but we're not expecting a reply. For example, when Haizam is sending the message to Akif, he wants me to note like he wants me to get a copy of the email as well. He wants me to get the copy of the message as well, but he's not expecting a reply from me. So that means I can see the message, but I am not required to reply. So those people we mentioned under CC, like a copy. Okay. I'm not saying that they can't reply. Now, if in a group, if I want, I can reply as well, but I'm not the main intended receiver. Okay. So the people who you want to get a copy of the email, but you're not expecting a reply from them, mostly we mention their email in front of CC. Now, when you're sending a copy of the email, there are two types of copy. One is called the visible copy, and the hidden copy. So when I'm sending an email, okay, when I'm sending an email, if I add the person's email address in front of the CC section, for example, let's say I'm the sender, and if I write a person's email address in front of the CC section, then everyone will know that he got a copy. Okay, for example, everyone in this group knows that, okay, Yusuf sir can see the message. But if that person's email is there in front of BCC, now no one will know I got a copy. It's like, for example, I'm spying on you all. You all don't know I'm seeing you, but I can see. So those hidden copies who are acting like spies, they are the BCC. So these are the two types of receivers. Okay, so no one will know that they are seeing. Okay, no one will know that these people can actually observe. That's how it works. The blind carbon copy. Exactly. So in this question, they are saying, sorry, I know you're BCC. Yeah, in several stuffs, I'm actually BCC. You all don't know that I'm seeing, but I'm seeing. Mr. DB Jayasundar, a purchasing manager, five-star company, send an email. So DB Jayasundar, he's a sender. There is nothing we have to include here. So he's a sender. Okay. And he has sent the email to his sales manager, Mr. Johan. So Mr. Johan's email is going to come on it too. So what is Johan at topmachinery.com? Johan at topmachinery.com. And copy that email to AJ Silva. So AJ Silva is going to get a copy of that email. So AJ Silva at fivestar.com. His email is going to come on this CC section number 2. So AJ Silva at topmachinery at fivestar.com. At fivestar.com. And then they have mentioned, and he sent a hidden copy of the same email to Mr. Sumit. So Sumit is getting a hidden copy. So hidden copy is going to BCC. Sumit at fivestar.com. So this is how the answer is going to be broken. John's name into Johan. Exactly. Is it like that you can see if you watch the recording or no? Kind of maybe, but that's not like a messaging, right? But yeah, that's kind of the idea. BCC people are dangerous. Yeah, you're beyond BCC. Sometimes, yes. If there's a will, there's a way, kind of. It's all a part of open paper. Anyways, half marks each, total 1, 2 marks there. So now tell me, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of 5 marks, how many marks have you got here? Hmm. Good, 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 good. Okay, those are any questions? Drop in the chat. Others, first do this paper. I'll give you around 5 minutes. I'll put your hands down. So once you're done, raise it. It's actually, you can do faster than 5 minutes also. So if you're done with this question, raise your hands. If you're doubts, drop in the chat. The fact that you're smiling evilly about it, which means that there's something special about it. Yes. Can't you record in the session today? I mean, today's normally I put it in YouTube live. So I don't record. If you all actually go to YouTube, you can see the class will be there. Oh, there is one person watching from YouTube itself. For YouTube, it's there. That's why I record the paper class. Okay, do this question once you're done, raise hands. So maybe, maybe not. Okay, quickly do this. Where can I get this tute? Actually, if you're coming for the theory class, you should have got this tute. If you're not coming for the theory class, I can give you the PDF version of these questions. When I starting recap sessions, actually, I'll be starting recap class inshallah within this month end. I'm still finalizing the posters, all those stuffs. So my plan is to start soon. I'll be publishing those details soon. Because all of you will make sure that you all are there in the WhatsApp channel. I'll just share the WhatsApp channel's link. So if there's anyone of you who is not in the channel, just join the channel because I'll be posting there the recap class details. Okay, let's check your answer. Hi, I'll check this. Not everyone, Surya, but I think if that number is there in your context, you can do something. I don't know. I don't check. I'll explain that later, Gauss. Just have a rough, this one on the, just look at the channel, update the details on what will happen, all the stuffs then. Okay, let's check your answers. Someone, the head prefect of school, is supposed to send emails regarding the 2019 annual education trip to whole prefect board. He expects to send the copies of that email to sectional head teacher. He expects to send the copies of that email to the sectional head teachers and principal. But other recipients should know that the principal is getting. Parents and guardians consider a format for the trip is supposed to be attached. Following is the email of an account interface, blah blah blah. Okay, so they are talking about a person called someone who is a head prefect, and he is supposed to send an email itself. And when he's sending his email to the student prefect board, he has to also send copies of the emails to the sectional head teachers and principal. And no one should know that the principal is getting a copy. We have to enter the email address of the main recipients, the prefects. Prefects are the main recipients, so they are going to be entered in the which section? A, B, C, or D? Correct. The main recipients we put in the two section, so their emails are going to come in the A section. We have to enter the principal email address in order to cover it from other recipients. So we don't want others to know that the principal is getting a copy. So where do you enter the principal's one? Yes, the hidden copy is in BCC. Here BC is labeled as D. What is a tool that can be used to attach guardian's consent letter as an attachment? So out of the tools given in the bottom here the toolbar. There's a tool which looks like a pin like this. That's called the attachment tool. So using the attachment tool, you can attach any document, any files, anything like images, photos, PDFs, any type of documents you can do using I. J is used to attach a link. Okay, so this is used for link and this is used for files like document, image, PDF, anything. So for that, use the attachment icon, which is the letter I. What is the label that indicates the email sent by Amal? Okay, out of the, you can see left side corner, we have those folders. So which one stores the email that Amal has sent? So someone has sent? Correct. That's the label E. What is the respect label to find the recent deleted emails? Perfect. That is G. Not in, not senior prefect in school, only junior. Anna. But no, they was head prefect actually. So in terms of what you call sectional head's email, where will you mention? It's not given to the question, but if you had to mention a sectional head's email, where will you mention that? Correct. Sectional head is getting a copy, and we don't mind others knowing that she's getting a copy. So we have to mention her one in the CC section, which is B. And then tell me, where do you have those unwanted emails in? Like any suspicious emails, unwanted emails, where do you have that in? Perfect. Those suspicious emails or unwanted emails you can find in spam. And where do you have the emails that we have received? Let's say the email someone has got. Perfect. If you go and click on this inbox section, he can see all the emails he has got. So in this question, if you got your answers correct, put 1 mark each and tell me out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many marks you have got. Good job. Okay, let's do the question, this question together, small question. So the first one, there's it's a matching question. Huh? To control the exchange of IP address, out of the given protocols, which protocol is used to exchange IP address? Basically, when two computers are communicating for the first time, The first thing they communicate is IP address. First comment will be like it's like for example, when you go and meet your friend, like a new person will be like, "Hi, my name is this." The other person might reply saying, "Hi, my name is this." The first thing you all normally talk about is your name, no? Yeah, we did this in theory class, but that's why I'm saying I'll do it all together. Yes, so much. Correct. It's the TCP/IP. That's a protocol that's actually in charge of exchanging IP address. Then to control file exchange. When you say file exchange, let's say between the client and server. From the client to the server, if you're sending, okay, from the client, if the data is going to go to the server, we call these processes as uploading. Okay, we call this process as uploading. And similarly, if you have a file that is going to be obtained from the server to the client, we call this as downloading. So, what is the protocol we use when you're uploading and downloading files? Correct. When you're uploading and downloading files, we use the FTP protocol. And informing when there are errors. Certain website and access, you might get this 404 error, 500 error, page not found, website is not loading. All those errors, those numbers and all you might get. Those are handled by whom? Perfect. That's handled by ICMT. And electronic mail exchange between two mail servers and the emails are normally exchanged. That's done by whom? It's done by the correct SMTP. Anyways, we did this question, that question in class, so I'll just ignore that. Do these two questions. One, two, three, four. 1 minute, 2 minute, three. Around I'll give around 5 minutes to this question. I'll put your hands down. So once you're done, raise your hands up. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? Some people just popped up, but not sure. We don't know what First one, Shaza. No, that's wrong. Okay, let's check your answers. Okay, Shazana, that's time and is very done. Write down two advantage of email than normal mail. Okay, normal mail is basically sending letters through post. That's what normal mail is. So advantage of email is you can say it's comparatively fast. So comparatively fast in delivery. And comparatively it's cheaper as well. The data cost is actually cheaper than stamp fee. Okay, so comparatively cheaper as well. So comparatively cost effective. And another thing you can say is easy to send and receive an email and receive a message. The one you can mention is ability to access the message from anywhere around the world. Ability to send and receive from anywhere at any time. So these are some possible answers you can mention. No? Less time consumption in delivery. So just continue complete your answer by adding that part called in delivery, and you can mark your answer correct. Doesn't require physical space. We can't exactly tell that because in order to write a email also you need a device. So that device will take some space. So that's not a suitable advantage. Knowing whether the email got delivered, there is no ways you can know. I mean, there is an indirect creamy way you can know the email got delivered. Legally, there is no way you know the email got delivered. Legally, you can't figure out whether the email got delivered. Your information. Actually, you can track normal posts. If you go for the Sri Lankan post, they have a website, I think. For you can actually track those reference number power you can track where the post was delivered. Not all the posts. Speed post you can track. Letter post I'm not sure, but emails you can't track the delivery status legally. There's a way illegal you can, but can send to many people at once. Can send many people at once easily at that part. Can you teach us a criminal way? No. Nahi. What about can send a single copy to multiple people at once? Correct? Please? Nope. That's a purpose. I put comparatively fast. Should I put the delivery and correct it? Yes, correct. Saves time. Saves time in doing what, Aisha? Because complete your sentence. You mentioned saves time in sending and receiving email. Then your answer's correct, don't worry. The way says it legally. Too many criminals these days. Exactly, they are what to do. Takes less amount of time to reach the person. Can send copies of emails to many people. Correct, both are correct. Fast and accurate info is provided. Info is provided. Fast is correct. Accuracy is not acceptable because you can write the email, you can misspell the email address as well. You can make human errors there as well. So that's wrong. No payment charges are done. Not no payment charge because you have a data fee, right? You're going to pay for the data. So therefore, don't mention no payment charge. You mention less payment charges has to be made. Like it's cheaper comparatively. It's not free, including you as a criminal. Yeah. Can we say higher chance of receiving the message? No, it's actually less chance. No, for example, if you send a post, if the post does not go, you can actually go to the this one. You can actually go to the post office and check. But if email doesn't go, where are you going to go and check? Did the post get returned or like that's not a suitable answer. More accurate. How can you have accuracy in emails, man? Like what is accurate? Exactly. I mark your paper, so I'll much as possible cut your marks early for writing all these incomplete answers. Can we say high chance of receiving the message? How can it be high chance of receiving the message, man? Like fast, yes, but how can I say you have a high chance of receiving the message? No. Even SM, for example, few days back, we had the awards day. Okay. And what happened was the awards day photos, I sent it through SMS for many people. I got complained that I didn't get the, some of them still complain me, I didn't get the SMS, I didn't get the SMS. So even though I used SMS, still there are people who did not get the SMS. So you can't exact tell. And I don't know, and there is no way I could track and see who got the SMS, who did not get the SMS. Still, I can't track and see. I mean, illegal, there is a way I could track, but generally you can't. Straightforwardly, you can't. And like the process is very complex. Straightforward, you can't track and see did the SMS get sent and all those stuff easily. So there are limitations there as well. So that's not a suitable answer. What if the mail went in a destroyed state? That's a disadvantage. You can say it's more secure. Or secure is a safety is high. We can ask from user to know whether the email is sent or not. I can't see whether your emails are sent. When you're sending an email, there's a small bug you have to put. So if you put that bug in the email, others will not know bug is coming. But if that bug is attached, then you will be able to track it. That's how it works. Anyways, so any of these answers you all mentioned, you can mark it correct. Anyways, all of you stop talking of hacking stuffs. I'm never going to teach you that anyways. How to create a bug. That I can't tell. I will not give you more details about that. Go fly a kite. So two advantage, one mark each or 2 marks there. I'm not saying anything. I will tell you all the things that are legal, not illegal stuffs. It's not ethical. It is like if you do it for yourself, it's legal. It's not illegal, but I'm not supposed to teach it. How do you know so many illegal things? Good question. Even I don't know the answer. A school maintains an internal computer network. Okay, all of your focus here. And spans all the divisions of schools such as office, computer lab, staff room, and science lab and library. Okay, fine. Write down any two advantages this school obtains by using this network. Okay, by using a network, you can easily share it, can easily share data across, can easily share data across, share data across all divisions. So this is one advantage. Another advantage we can tell is, let's say, can share resources like printers, can share resources like printers. So what I mean by can share resources like printers are, for example, if you have a network, okay, let's say 4 devices are connected to the network. I can also connect a printer. Okay, for the same network, I can also connect a printer. And what I can do is, if all of them in the same net, like if all of them are like interconnected with each other, if I have created a computer network here, then what I can do is from all these devices, I can make a printout. Okay. Now, normally what happens in a printer is connected only to one device now. But if I've connected a printer to a network, then all of them can use the same printer. So that's why it says can share resources. You can learn in YouTube before. I don't think YouTube has this. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's one answer. Easy to transfer files. The first one, same. Software application installed on one device can be used in others. Rather than mentioning software applications can be used, you can mention ability to control central software. Ability to control central software. So what I mean by this is if I have properly configured them in a network, I can now let's say there are 5 computers with I can control the softwares we have in each computer. I can be like, okay, in this computer, install this application or download this application or download this to all the computers together. So, you can do those stuffs when you have a network. So you can control a central software. It saves time since it's neatly organized. Um, it saves time to transfer data or share data. So complete your answer by saying saves time to transfer data. Like organizing is not going to make an advantage. Is ethical hacking legal? It depends on the purpose and to whom it's done and why it's done. How did you learn illegal things? It's like you're going and asking your mother, how do you know to cut fish? Now, using the knowledge of how to cut fish, you know how to cut any other meat as well. So humans also have meat. So if you know how to cut fish and chicken, you also know how to cut that. Indirectly, that's how I can phrase it. What else over? You have trust issues, right? Is it why you're not teaching it for us? One is trust issues. Second is it's not legal. It's not something good you all should know. It's something that's not needed. So if we learn programming, other things, we can figure out how to hack. Not exactly. Hacking and programming is completely different. It's like you're asking if I go for a tailoring class, will I know how to create a will I know how to replicate what do you call the Gucci bag? So creating a Gucci bag is a talent. Just because you went for tailoring class and learned how to stitch a normal trouser, that doesn't mean you learn how to make a proper professional leather handbag. Exactly, Gaussam. So yeah, out of these, if you mention any two answers, put 1 mark each or 2 marks there, okay? Again, there are other answers as well. I just went through the answers you all gave me and I modified those answers. That is magic. I actually hacked my mom's phone a few years back using Kali. Okay, good. You can actually do it from the phone itself without using a laptop. You can even do it from a smartwatch. Imagine a video conference facility to be established for students where they can view the events taking place within another side of the school. Write down two devices required for this. Okay, so basically they are saying a video conference facility to be established for students where they can view the events taking place within another side of the school. I'll explain what does that question mean. It's for example, imagine we have a school here. Okay, in this school, let's say there is a what do you call small hall, and in this small hall there is event happening. So there is no space for everyone to stay here. And let's say there is a grounds or something here. So I want a situation where I can watch whatever is happening in this hall. Okay, whatever is happening in the hall, I should be able to watch it from the grounds. Okay. To do that, I need two main devices. One device to capture whatever is happening here, and one device to show it here. To capture what is happening, what's the device we need? Magic Zora. Correct. To capture stuffs, we need a webcam. So webcam is one of the most important devices here. Now, apart from using a webcam to capture the stuffs, what is the device we need to show the stuffs? To show it in the grounds, not a computer. Exactly. You can mention there a digital screen, or you can mention there a TV, or you can mention there projector, monitor, any other output device that could output the data, you can show it. So these are the two main devices you need. There are other devices as well need. For example, you need internet connection, so that you need a router or something. You will need a computer. You need a device. Killer. There are some other devices you will need as well. But the two main devices you will need is these two: a device to capture the stuffs, a device to portray the stuff out. So apart from these two, if you mention any other answers, I will not give you marks because these are two main devices. Now the other answers are wrong, but they're not relevant. So in your school exam, sometimes you might get marks, but I'm not going to give you all marks because of not being relevant. Give one security mechanism to ensure that authorized people can only use this network. Very easy answer. How do you basically secure? Hmm. By using a password to protect your network or to access it. So if you have used a word called password, give one mark there. Using a password which are only provided for authorized people, correct. Using an account, that's wrong. Giving permissions to specific email for access, wrong. Because we are talking about a network. You can't control a network by email. You can control a network by IP address, but you can't control a network by email. Like I can tell people who has this IP address, give access killer. I can control a network by IP address, but not by email address. But again, that's advanced. For your level, the answer you all should write is using a password to protect your network. Yes, Hannah, peak. Like in peak level. Okay, so tell me out of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of 7 marks, how many marks you got? And those who have any questions, drop your questions in the chat. Assign a username and password for the staff members and school students to access the computer network. Correct. Username and password, correct. If you have any different answers, you want to check your answers, drop in the chat. I'll check your answers. Others, let me know your marks out of 7 marks. For the first question, is it correct to mention the cost efficiency because resources can be shared? You mean advantage of networking? Aisha. Cost effective because resources can be shared. Then your sentence should have that whole thing, like cost effective because resources can be shared. If you just mention cost effective incompletely, then no marks. What are you doing here, Kala? Does IP address change per device or Wi-Fi network? Per network. So if you're using mobile data, you will have a different IP address. But if you're using a Wi-Fi router, then all the devices connected to the router will have a kind of same IP address. There's something called port number that will change. So it varies on how you are connected. If you are connected using mobile data, then you'll have a router, you'll have the IP address from phone to phone different. But if you're using a Wi-Fi router, then router to router, the IP address will be different. Nah, not exactly. Hannah. Yeah, with the we're done for the day. Those who have any questions, you can stay now, so that you can leave. We're done for the day. How to encrypt IP address? Why do you want to encrypt IP address and you can't encrypt IP address? Because if you encrypt IP address, then how are you going to share data? It's like you're asking, can I encrypt my home address and get a courier for my house? To get a courier for your house, you need to your home address has to be publicized. Same way when data is communicated through the internet as well. The main mode of knowing where to send this data is using the IP address. So IP address, by knowing the IP address only, the computer knows, okay, the data has traveled from here to here or here to here, something like that. So you can't encrypt it. There's no purpose of encrypting it. Yeah, Ryan, we're done. We did that, Zainab, I guess, in the Thursday's paper class, grade 10, actually. You know about MCQ, right? Let me just check because I remember we did that. Grade 10, lesson number 3, 2021, question number 7. Here, we did that question actually in the grade 10 paper class. I think it would have been done on, I'll check and let me know the recording. I'll just send you a list of grade 10 paper class recordings. Just check around 1 month back. We did this, I guess. Can I get the recording and put it? Ah, okay. Suraya, fifth lesson, right? Yes, I think the field tunes I sent you, no, Suraya. So Zainab just drop me a message. I'll send you the list of recordings. And after that, if you can't understand, let me know because I have taught in detail there. Okay. Shall I? Okay, I'll do. Dialogue warning, spam, grade 11 commerce. It's something concerning. I'll check it, Haiza. But we can use bridges, no. Bridges for what? Okay, Hannah. To hide IP address. That's not actually hiding. It's like you're jumping. But still your IP address can be found. Are you doing any other questions, doubts? Actually, yes. Wait, Zainab, if you want, I can do one. I'll do one question for you. Just wait. Give me a moment. Zainab, are you here? I mean, Zainab Hani. Okay, so I will. You wanted to ask a question? No, I'll do an ask a question. Question number 7 and question number 10. 2022, question number 10. 2022, question number 10. Yeah, I'll do the 2022 question number 10. That's a more interesting one. Okay. And then what do you call Hannah, you wanted this question? Actually, this as well. Okay, I'll pray and come and I'll discuss both this. Okay, so now it's 7:20. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll pray and come at 7:25. I'll start with Zainab this question and then I'll discuss yours. Okay. Again, others, if you all want, you all can stay. Not compulsory for others to stay. At 7:25, I'll discuss that. Ask a question and then Hannah will come to your this question. What is the question, Ushta? Okay, those are praying, pray and come at 7:25. I'll start. Other questions of doubts. Okay, sorry on the gap. I'm back. Zainab, are you here? Okay, perfect. So yeah, Rizlan is on a vacation, right? I don't know. Let me see his story. Has he put anything? I don't know. Man must be enjoying because the work day is over. That's my story. Yeah, that's my story. Insta story. After you said. I know. I think what do you call this month is school holidays, no? So I think he's spending time in Zoha or something. I'm not sure. Okay, let's come back to the context. So if you got a question like this, consider the character value mapping for the ASCII, which the following ASCII represents for O level. Okay. Now here they have mentioned capital O is 79 and slash is 47. Okay, O is 79, slash is 47, and then L is 76. Simple O is 111. And then 108. Simple L is 108. So the question has given the ASCII values for all these characters, and they're asking what is the ASCII value for the word called OL, right? Now, ASCII is basically a coding system. What do you mean by a coding system is, before you learn this topic called coding system, you'll learn something called as number systems. In the third lesson of grade 10, you'll learn something called number systems. So under number system, what you all learned is you learn how do you represent the numbers we use in our day-to-day life. How do we represent them in a way a computer can understand? When you take computers, computers can understand numbers which are presented only in a single form. What is that form? In which form the numbers has to be for the computers to understand that? Not numbers only or anything. Exactly. For the computer to understand anything, whether it's numbers or letters or words, whatever it is, the computer can understand only in a form called binary. But if you take us as humans, when we are dealing with numbers, for example, if someone comes and asks what is the age, what is the time, what is your weight, when you're dealing with numbers, we use a number system called decimal. So that the number, like for example, you measure your height, weight, age, all these stuffs, you do in decimal number system. So under this section called number systems, we learned how do you convert decimal numbers to binary. You'll learn this and you'll be able to convert it. So for example, let's say there was a situation where there were two numbers that has to be added together. And then what can be done is you can convert those numbers to binary and you can feed the data for the computer. Okay. Now, numbers you can convert to binary, it's possible. So for example, if I ask, if you want to represent, if you want to store, then let's say we have a number called 250 or something. Okay, I just write a random number, 256. Okay. We have a random number called 256. Let's say you want to store this in a computer. So when you're storing in the computer, you can convert to binary and store. So there is no problem. But let's say there are situations where you have to store a person's name, or you have to store some character like an email address, okay, or to store a symbol. So when you want to store any values that are not a number, okay, when you want to store values that are not a number, we have a problem. Because for example, the number 256 I can convert to binary. But if I have a word called bat, Okay. Now, if you now to convert 256 to binary, you might divide by 2. No, the normal processes, you might divide this number by 2. Okay. But the word called that, can I like this divide by 2 and find the answer? Like, is this a numeric value that can be divided? Exactly. The problem we have is it's not a numeric value that can be divided. So to solve this problem, what they did was they were like, okay, even though the word called bet can't be represented using numbers, they were like, let's do something like this for every character. Okay, for every character, we have the letter B, letter A, letter T is there, right? Let's give a numeric value for every character. So what they did is, for example, if you have the number, okay, before that, there was another thing that came. I'll come to that problem as well. Before I come for this solution, I'll come for another solution. So initially, I told you we want to represent, I mean, when you are storing decimal values in the computers, I told you we divide by 2 and we do the process now and find the binary value. If it's a small number, you can divide by 2, not a problem. But let's say our number is very huge. For example, we had a number like this. Now, currently we have computers, but without using a computer, if you have to like divide these numbers and all, is it convenient to divide a number such a huge number if you're going to divide by 2 and write? Is it convenient to divide the whole number at once? No, it's a bit difficult. So what they did is initially they were like, okay, if I'm going to divide the whole number and convert to binary, there are mistakes I can do and I can cause confusions. So they were like, let's do something like this. Let's convert every digit to binary. Okay, let's convert digit by digit to binary and let's form the binary number. Now, if you convert digit by digit, the smallest value, if you take a number, the smallest value a number can have is 0. What is the largest value a specific digit can have? If it's a decimal number, a specific digit, what's the largest number it can have? No, decimal number. 1000, correct, Zainab? If it's a decimal number, now here I have put 2, 4, 3 numbers I have put. No, this number can be largest is what? Correct. The largest value that number could be is 9. Okay, the largest value a digit can have is number 9. So they were like, okay, to represent number 0 in binary, what's the answer? So 0 in decimal, if you convert to binary, it's going to be 0 base 2. And if you take number 9 and convert number 9 from what you call decimal, if you convert number 9 to binary, the answer will be something like this, 1001. Okay. So all the numbers between 0 to 9, if you convert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, killer, all the numbers between 0 to 9, if you convert them to binary, you'll be getting an answer now. The answer will have either 1 digit or 2 digits or 3 digits or 4 digits. The largest number is 9 and you can see 9 has 4 digits. For example, if I take the number 8 in decimal, 8 is basically equal to 1000. So all the numbers from 0 to 9 are having only the maximum of 4 digits to represent them. I mean, we need a maximum of only 4 binary digits to represent them. So they created a coding system first. They were like, without taking this full number and dividing by 2, let's convert every number into binary. And what let's do is, every number, let's convert and keep the answer in 4 bits. Let's keep the number in 4 bits. So that which means when you convert 0 to binary, it's 0 now. But without representing 0 as 0, let's represent 0 as 0000. Now, for example, if you take number 3, when you convert number 3 to binary, answer is 10 base 2. Sorry, 11 base 2. Or let's say number 2. If I write number 2 in binary is equal to 10 base 2. So they were like, without writing that in 10, let's represent that using 4 bits. So how can you write the same number using 4 binary digits? 0010. The reason they made it 4 bits is to make sure it standardize it. What I mean by standardize it is, for example, if I give a number like this, okay, if I give a number like this, if you count and see how many binary digits there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 bits here. So now using this ideology, you can be like, okay, to represent one number, we're using 4 bits. So that means, okay, to represent one number, we're using 4 bits. So that means if you have 12 bits, it has to be 3 numbers. So that means if I convert this number to decimal, I'll have a decimal number, a 3-digit decimal number. Okay. Now this is a small number, but again, this system was mainly made because earlier days when they wanted to represent numbers in a computer, when the numbers is too long, if they're going to convert it to binary, the whole number at once and convert, it's like there are possible mistakes you can do. It's not convenient. It's difficult. All those stuffs. So what they did is without converting the whole number at once, they converted digit by digit. And after they converted that, they made sure that they kept the answer in 4 bits because the largest number could be in 4 bits, smallest is 0. So they were like maximum it can be 4 bits, no? So to make it a standard method, let's have it always in 4 bits. Okay. So the coding system that was made like this is what we call as BCD, binary coded decimal. Tell me, are you clear about this whole thing about BCD first? Okay. So for example, if I have a number called 250, or let's say 256, if I want to convert this to binary using the BCD method, we don't divide it by 2, but we represent every number using 4 bits. So I'll just do it quickly, okay, without showing the method. So number 2, if you're going to represent in binary, it will be like this, 0010. And number 5, if you're going to represent in binary, it's actually 0101. And number 6 in binary is 0110. Okay. So 256, if I convert to binary using the BCD method, this will be my answer. Now, BCD was used to represent numbers, no? But with time, apart from representing decimal numbers, with time, they also wanted to represent letters. So now they had the question, okay, to represent numbers, we found a method. But if I have a, what you call a word, like let's say I have the word called cab, or let's say a word called cab. If I have a word called cab, how can I convert this to binary? That problem was a roast. Okay. How are you doing that super fast? There's a short form actually. You do that in the mind. It's basically you have the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8. Okay. And I know that to form I had to represent number 2 using 4 bits. So basically out of 1, 2, 4, 8, in my mind, I'll be like, what are the numbers I need? I need only 2, so I wrote 2 here. To form the number 5, I need 4 and 1. So the place 4 and 1 has to come, I wrote 1 there. So to get number 6, I need 4 and 2. That's why I wrote the middle two numbers. So that 1 to 4 is already encoded in the head, and that's how you do it. Yeah. Anyways, coming back to the context. Tudun, 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 tudun. So 0, 1, 0. Yeah. Now let's say we had the word called cab. The problem came with how do we represent the now? If you take numbers, you can convert numbers to binary. But if you take letters, letters doesn't have a value to convert. So then what happened was in America, there was an organization called ANSI, American National Standard Institute. So what this organization did was they were like, okay, let's do something like this. For every number, for every character, for every character, let's give a numeric value. So what they did is for the capital A, they gave one value. For the simple A, they gave one value. For the dot, they gave one value. For slash, they gave one value. For at symbol, they gave one value. For every symbol, they actually gave a numeric value. Okay, they gave a numeric value. So if I'm going to show you all that, this is the values that organization gave. Okay, these are the value that organization gave. If you look at this table, you can see this table has around 128 characters. If you count and see how many characters there are, 128. For example, you can see there is this symbol called the hashtag. Hashtag has number 35. Capital letter H has number 72. So likewise, every character has a numeric value. Okay. And as per that value, the capital letter A got 65. So ANSI, they gave a value. They gave these mapping values, and capital letter A got 65. Simple letter A got 97, I guess. 97. Yeah. And if you notice here, all the values are in a sequential order, meaning if A is 65, B is 66, C is 67, the values are there. Again, you don't have to by heart them. The questions, they'll actually give it to you. So you don't have to by heart them. You don't have to by heart. They'll give you a hint always. So B is 66, it goes in order. So normally, if they give you the value of A, you can figure out the remaining values. Now, if you know the numeric value of all these digits, if you know, now if A is 65, if B is 66, how much do you think capital C will be? Perfect. Capital C will be 67. So now if I have a numeric value, if I know A is 65, B is 66, and C is 67, now is it possible to convert a numeric value to binary? Have you learned a method to convert numbers to binary? Yes. So using what you called, if you convert this now, like earlier, I converted number 2 to binary, number 5 to binary, number 7 to binary. Now, if I start converting the 65, 66, 67, if I convert them to binary, I can find the answer. Now, there's a twist. If you nicely remember, there was a reason why I told that every character is represented using 4 bits. Okay. If you remember, I told you there's a reason why I use 4 bits, right? The reason why we use 4 bits is the largest number we have is 9. Okay, in decimal, the largest number we have is 9. To represent number 9, we need 4 bits. That's why we use 4 bits. Tell me, are you clear about why BCD uses 4 bits? Now, the coding system we have here, which was made by ANSI, American National Standard Institute, this coding system is called ASCII coding system. In ASCII coding system, a specific character's value can start from 0 and the largest number is 127. If you take ASCII, the largest number is 127. So a specific character, the largest value a specific character can have is 127. So if you're going to convert 127 to binary, your answer will look something like this. 64, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. If you convert 127 to binary, the answer will get 7 ones. Okay. So the largest number is 127 and other numbers all comes below this. Okay. The largest number we have is 127 and that is to represent 127, you need 7 bits. So just like how the largest number in decimal is 9 to represent, we use 4 bits. In ASCII, when you take a specific value's largest value is 127. So they were like, okay, let's standardize this. Let's say to represent every number, we are going to use 7 bits. So we are going to represent 67 using 7 bits, 65 using 7 bits, and 66 also using 7 bits. So if I convert number 67 to binary, my answer would be something like this: 64, 65, 66, 67. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 64, 65, 67. If I convert 65 to binary, 65 in binary will look something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I convert 66 to binary, it will look something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I'm doing the calculation in the mind, but indirectly what I'm doing here is just take 65, divide by 2, 32, 1 remains, divide by 2, 16, 0 remains, divide by 2, 8, 0 remains, divide by 2, 4, 0 remains, divide by 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 0 remains, divide by 2, 1, 0 remains, divide by 2, 0, 1 remain. And just write the remainders from bottom top, it is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The same division I did in the mind here and got the answer. Okay. So what I've done here is I've converted the number 67 to binary, 65 to binary, and 66 to binary. So this method of converting numbers or converting values to binary is what we call as ASCII. So in ASCII, what happens is every character is given a numeric value, and that was given by an organization called ANSI. And if you are supposed to find the word called cap, if you are supposed to convert this and find the binary value, what you do is, first of all, you should know the individual values. We have C, A, B, we have letters. No, each letters we should find the numeric value. To find the numeric value only, you need the table. Without by heart in the table, if you just remember this, it's more than enough. Just remember A is 65. But majority of the questions, they actually give you a hint. But before I go for that, first of all, tell me, are you clear how I found this value of cap benol in binary? Okay. So now in this question, they're asking to find the value of O level in binary using the ASCII method. So we have a letter, we have a word called OL. Okay. We're going to convert this to binary. And to convert this to binary, the method we are going to use is the ASCII method. So ASCII is basically a method of converting. In ASCII, what happens is every character is represented by a decimal value, and the question you can say they have already given. Now, if you look at the word called O level, it's capital O, capital L. So because it's capital O, capital L, first of all, tell me, what do you think the value of O is going to be? Is it 79 or 111? What should I take the value of O as? Perfect, 79. And this slash is also a character. So what is the value of this slash? This symbol called slash, what is the value of that character? Perfect, 47. And what is the value of this letter L? Correct. This is capital L, so the value is 76. So to convert this to binary, what should I do is individually I have to convert 79 to binary, 47 to binary, and 76 to binary. So if I convert 79 to binary, 79 in binary is equal to 64, 64, 69, 79. So that's equal to 1, 2, 4, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. 64, 65, 67, 68, 67, 71. Yeah. If you convert 79 to binary, this is the answer. Again, I did mind calculation, but you're supposed to basically do this long division like this. There's a short form actually, but for now you just do this long division. So once you do this, convert this whole number like this division method, you all even learn this in grade 9 maths, no? Is convert to binary, you get 79 as this. And if you convert 47 to binary, 47, right? Yeah, 47 is basically 32, 37, 47. So that's 0, 32, 37, 1, 1, 1. And if you convert what you called 76 to binary, 76 is equal to 1, 0, 1, 76, 77, 78, 79. 64, 1, 2, 4, 8, 8 plus 4 is 12, 12 plus 64, 65, 66, something. Yeah. Again, I'm doing the mind calculation. I can be wrong sometimes, but you all make sure you all go in the proper division method. Huh? Actually, in the class, I showed a different way as well. It will be confusing teach now because I'm already overflowing you all with so much of data because I'm giving you all a summary. This whole thing is like a 2-hour session. I'm just compressing it and telling you. So if I convert 79, 47, and 76 to binary, these are my respective answers. So if you are representing all in binary, all will be equal. First of all, the value of O is actually 1, 0, and 4 ones. And slash, that's equal to 0, 1, 0, 4 ones. And 76 in binary, that's equal to 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Okay. So if you look at the answers, 1, 0, 4 ones. The answer is 1, 0, 4 1. 1, 0, 4 1. See the first answer. 79. Then 47 is equal to 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and 4 ones. So that's how the third answer is obtained here. Basically, the value of O, value of slash, and value of L. Makes sense there? So yeah, that's how you do ASCII questions. The idea is now just like how we had BC in ASCII only, there were two other coding systems as well made. After BC, there was a coding system called EBC DIC made. So in EBC DIC, what happens is every character is represented using 8 bits. So for that, there's a different table. Again, you don't have to buy hard that. Sometimes the questions they might give you. If they give you a value, just keep in mind it's an order. Like if they tell you A is 65, then definitely B is 66. So they'll give you a hint. Using that hint, you can find the numeric value and just convert that numeric value to binary. After you convert, just make sure answer is always in 8 binary digits. For ASCII 7, BCD 4. And then we had a final coding system called Unicode. Again, Unicode also has a different table. In Unicode, every character is represented using 16 bits. Is that part clear? So only in BCD there is no mappings because BCD direct number, but EBCDIC, Unicode, and ASCII You have to first of all figure out the numeric value for every character, and then only you have to convert. Will EBCDIC conversions come for the exam? Actually, if you take the new syllabus, that means currently there's a grade 7, no, grade 10, no, O level 27. In O level 27 syllabus, EBCDIC is removed from the syllabus. And for you all also, they have never asked ABC conversions. They have just asked you how many bits are used to represent a value, but you rarely get conversions. So therefore, there's nothing to worry about the conversions there. Only BCD and ASCII just know how to convert. For these two, you don't need to know how to convert. But suppose if you come across situation, the method is same. I thought G10 is also doing the same. No, G10 has a very new syllabus. For example, if you take spreadsheet and all, they have around 3 or 4 new functions and all. So it's different. And you already have fields and records, no? They have a different name for fields and records. We don't use fields and record now for we use fields and record, but apart from fields and record, in the grade 10 syllabus, there's something called degree and cardinality. So there are some new stuffs they're learning. Anyways, with that, I'm done with Zainab, your question. What about Unicode? Will they ask questions on that too in the exam? Again, the question they'll mainly ask is what are the things you can store in Unicode? Second is to represent every character, how many bits? There's a table, just know, remember this table and you're good to go. Like, grade 10, lesson number 3. Grade 10 semester. Because I made a paper once. Unit test. This, as long as you know this table, you're good to go. That these are 4, this is the numbers, no, this table. That there are 4 coding systems. In each coding system, these are the bits used. And these are the numbers that you can represent. Like how many numbers can each of these coding system represent? This part, you know, you're good to go. Okay. Let me come to Hana, your question now. Zainab, you're clear, right, with everything? Zainab, all good? Perfect. Hana, are you here? Hana, are you here? Okay, perfect. The flowchart prepared for students who obtain 50 marks or more in a test held for 50 students in a selection of studying ICT is shown below. Which is the answer correct for the label ABC of this flowchart? ABC. Okay. So basically, we're talking about 50 marks or more for 50 students. Fine. So we should know, first of all, each student's marks. And we have to compare and see has each student got 50 marks or more. Okay. So you can see there is a variable called ST number. And we're starting ST number with 1. Right. Then there is a rhombus. And then there is a input statement asking the user to enter the marks. So here only we're asking the user to enter the marks. And after we enter the marks, here you can see we're checking, has he got a marks that's greater than or equal to 50? Okay. And you can see there's a yes or no part. Now, if they have got a marks greater than 50, as per the question given here, if they have got a marks more than 50, now are they selected or are they not selected for studying ICT? As per the paragraph, if a person has got a marks that's more than or equal to 50, exactly, they are selected. So that means this B should talk about something about being selected. Okay, B is talking about something being selected. So if you go through the answers here, the first one is saying you're selected, second is saying you're selected, third is saying you're not selected, fourth is saying you're not selected. Now, based on that, tell me, can 3 and 4 be correct? Because the order is A, B, C, right? So B is the middle one, second one. So 3 and 4 is definitely wrong. So now we have two options which you are supposed to find from. If B is representing you're selected, then C is representing you're not selected. Let's see, is that how it's there here as well? You're not selected, you're not selected. Yes, both are correct. Now we have the question whether A is basically ST number is less than or equal to 50, or for A should be right, ST number is greater than or equal to 50. So now we have 50-50 option. We'll compare and see out of these two, what is the correct answer. Now, if you go through the table, you can see here we have a variable called ST number and we're starting that with 1. And you can see after we check, are you eligible or not? Are you selected or not? You can see we are going to increase the ST number value. See, ST number value is increasing by 1. And we are going to go for the next record. We're going to go for the next round. So this ST number looks like a count variable. Okay. The ST number, it looks like a counter variable. And that is used to basically, what do you call the count? The number of, okay. And that is used to basically count how many students, like how many students are we checking? Okay. So initially you can see the student count is like 1. Then we check the first student. Once the first student is done, now we increase the value and we're going to be like, okay, now we are going to go check the second student. So the ST number is basically a variable to count how many students we're actually checking. So initially ST number was 1. And after we check the first students, now we are going to increase it by 1. And after you follow this instruction, the value of ST number becomes 2. So what we are going to do here is we're going to go and ask, we had right here, what do you call a condition to check, should we go and check the second student's mark? Should we go and check the third student mark? Something like that. That's how this condition is going to work. So out of these two, if you go and mention is ST number less than or equal to 50? Okay. Now, for example, let's say the first student we're going to check. We're going to be like, okay, is the first student, should we check the first student? Yes. Now, once the value increase, when the value of ST number becomes 2, we're going to go and check is 2 less than or equal to 50? Yes, we're going to go. So now this ST number variable is going to use to have like a checking part to see, should we check the student, second student? Is a third student inside the range? Is a fourth student inside the range? But if you do the vice versa, if I go and mention something like is ST number greater than or equal to 50? If I mention greater than or equal to 50, what will happen is, if I'm going to come and check is 1 greater than or equal to 50, it's going to give answer as no, and the program will end. So for example, if I have the condition here is that if I have this condition as is ST number, what do you call it, greater than or equal to 50? If I have the condition is ST number greater than or equal to 50, then are we even checking one person's marks before the program finish? If I have the condition as is ST number greater than or equal to 50, am I even checking a person's marks before I go to finish? No. Because why? Initially ST number is 1. Now if I come for this condition and let's say the condition is asking is 1 greater than or equal to 50, answer is no. So not even a single person's marks I'm being checking. Okay. So therefore, the correct answer is the first one. Does that make sense? I told it a bit fast. If you understood, tell yes. If you didn't understand, let me know your questions. Perfect. If there's any question, let me know, Hannah. So answer there is the first one. Huh? Then second question they're asking, what are the control structures represented by the flowchart? Okay, in the beginning of this class, I told you by looking at a rhombus, how can you figure out is it a selection or repetition? So look at this rhombus and tell me, is this rhombus representing a selection or repetition? I told you if they meet, I told you if they meet, it's selection. If they don't meet, it's repetition. Let's say you're finding someone. Okay, you're finding someone and you found them. So if you meet them, it's selected. You find your person you wanted. If you don't meet, you keep on finding. It's repetition. So for example, if a person goes in this direction, the no direction, and another person goes in yes direction, then where are they going to meet? Are they meeting first of all? If one person goes in no direction and one person goes in yes direction, is there anywhere they're going to meet? No. The no fellow will come here and he'll go for the end, he's done. The yes fellow will go here, here, it can go here, 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 and he'll again come here. So yes fellow is going to keep on rotating in this place, but he's not going to meet another fellow. So if you don't meet, then what's it? Selection or repetition? You're not going to meet. If one person goes in the yes direction, one person goes in no direction, and if they don't meet anywhere, that's what type of structure I told you. Imagine you're finding someone, you met them, you have selected them. You did not meet your dream person, you're still finding, repeating. Correct. So this is representing a repetition structure. Is that part clear? Anna got it? Okay. So look at this rhombus and tell me, what is this rhombus representing? Is this rhombus representing a selection or repetition? Again, same idea. Think one person is going in the yes direction, another person is going in the no direction. Will they meet anywhere? That's how your question should be. Is this selection or repetition? Correct. This is selection because if one person goes in this direction, another person goes in this direction, he will go here. After he goes here, he's going to come here. The other fellow, after he goes here, he's going to come here. So both of them meets at this place, like a common place where both of them met. So because they have met each other, it's like you're selecting a person. So this is representing selection structure. So the control structure used here is selection is used inside the repetition structure because who did we meet first? Coming from top to bottom, first we met repetition. Okay, when we came for this program, first we met repetition. Sorry. Okay, when we came from top to bottom, first we met repetition. And inside this repetition structure, we had the selection structure. First of all, we met the repetition. And inside the repetition structure, we had a selection structure. So we can call this as selection inside repetition. Is that clear? Selection is inside the repetition. Who did we meet first? Draw that first and then second. So answer is second one. Is that clear now? Any other questions? What's the difference when using less than or equal to, less than or equal to? It varies in depending on the context, you have to decide what to use. Now, in this question, there is a difference. Now, for example, in this question, if I use, let's say, ST number is, let's say if I use ST number is less than or equal to 50. Okay, let's say I'm going to use ST number is less than or equal to 50. Good job, Ryan. Now, when the program started, the value of ST number was how much? It was 1. So if I, for this condition, if I go and apply that value, if I go and check ST number is less than or equal to 50, which means if I go and check is 1 less than or equal to 50, what's the answer? Yes or no? If I ask you is one less than or equal to 50, what's the answer? Yes or no? Yes. But let's say if I had the condition like this, if I had the condition as is ST number greater than or equal to 50. Okay, if I had this as my condition, now the value of ST number when the program started, ST number is 1. Okay. So if I go and check is 1 greater than or equal to 50, what's the answer? Yes or no? No. So in this program, let's say if I had the condition as is ST number greater than or equal to 50, let's say I had this condition. So when the program is running for the first time itself, I will come here, I will check is ST number greater than or equal to 50, and we're going to go for no, and the program finishes. So if I use this condition, then am I even checking one person's marks before the program finished? At least did I check even one person's marks? No. So that's why in this question, this condition was wrong. So depending on the context, you should see whether this condition is correct or this condition is correct. So depending on the context, it can vary. The point is the conditions is always used as a controller to control the repetition. Make sense? So depending on the question, you'll decide. But if they only use the higher than without equal, same no. Like if the condition was there as let's say if ST number was greater than 50. So let's say the value of ST number was 1 when the program started, the value of ST number was 1. So if I ask you is 1 greater than 50, what's your answer? Yes or no? No. So in this program also again, we're directly going to end the program. So depending on the context, only you decide whether you have to use less than symbol, greater than symbol, equal symbol, what is the number. Those all depends on the context. From question to question, it can vary. The point you should remember is I have to use a condition here. The purpose of the condition is to repeat. The number of times I want, it should repeat. But when once I have completed the number of times I want, it should stop the repetition. So that's how you decide how to write a condition. For example, the same condition we wrote here, the condition we wrote is ST number less than or equal to 50? No. Let's say if I want to check this as 40 students, then I might change this 50 to 40. So if I change this 50 to 40, then I'll be checking only for 40 students. So depending on the question only you decide what is the number to use there. Make sense? Hello? Anything else? Rushta, I'll take MCQ now. The part 2 I'll anyways discuss next later. So in this question, they're asking how many fields are Rushta, are you here? Rushta, are you here? Yeah. So in this question, they're asking how many fields are there in a subject table. So there are 3 tables given here, and these are subject table. So in a table, these column names there, right? The subject, code, subject. These are what we call as fields. Okay. These are what we call as the fields. So the question is asking how many fields are there in a subject table. In the subject table, we have 2 fields. Subject code is one field. Subject is another field. So the answer is 2. Is that clear? Mm. What would be the most suitable field as a primary key for the student table? When I talk about primary key is basically the unique field of a table that we can use to identify records. So it's a unique field that we use to identify records. So one of the conditions a primary key should have is it has to contain only unique value. Now, when you're finding the data, you don't depend only on the given data. Don't depend on the given data only. Okay, don't depend on the given data. Always you ask your question, not is it repeating. Don't ask your question, like don't stop yourself from asking only is it repeating. Along with asking is it repeating, you'll also ask yourself this question of can it repeat? Both these questions you should ask. Okay. For example, if you look at the student table has four columns: date of birth, name, student number, and class. Okay. If you take date of birth, first of all, let's go to the current data and see is it repeating. If you go and check, is it repeating? Is there any data repeating? Is there any values repeating? Based on the given data, are there anything repeating? No. But even though based on the given data there, it's not repeating, practically can it repeat? Now, this is talking about basically a student's marks regarding database. Okay, so the students table have all the students who are registered in our school. Okay, so practically in a school, can there be two students with the same date of birth? Yes or no? What do you mean by no? So that means you're saying in the whole world on one day only one person can be born. Is that what you're saying? You're saying because there is nothing, there is no concept called twins. Or in schools also you don't find two different peoples born the same day. Is that so? Apart, so you're saying only twins can be born on the same day. There can be two different people born on the same day. Now, for example, take me and my sister, both of us are born on the same day. The year is different, but date and month is same. And I know certain people who are the same date of birth, complete two different people. Okay. So date of birth is not unique. If you go to the hospital on the same day, there'll be hundreds of people born. So who is talking about twins here? The question is simple. The question is, can there be two people who are born who have the same date of birth? If you go over the hospital, you're saying hospital, there a rule in hospital on one day only one person can be born. And the whole world only one day one person. You're saying in Sri Lanka, if in one hospital one person is born, in any other countries, any other hospital, no one can be born. Exactly. So what do you call on the same day? So you'll have only one birthday cake instead of two. Technically, you don't cut birthday cakes. Boring. So what do you call coming back to the context? What do you call on the same? There can be multiple people the same date of birth for your information. So date of birth is not something unique. On the same day you are born, there can be in your school or class. You can even find another person who's born on the same day. So that is not something unique. It can repeat. Is that clear? Not exactly, Haran. Because the fun we do cut, but not as a norm. Okay, so date of birth is something that can repeat. Now, again, when you come for the name, you'd ask two questions. First question, is it repeating? Is the names repeating? No. Can it repeat? No. Because there could be multiple people the same names that can repeat. So that also you can't take as a primary key. In terms of the class, is it repeating? Are there repetitions? Yes. So that also can't be taken as a primary key. Now, student number, it's like admission number. It's like index number. That's what student number means. If you take in your school the student number or index number, or admission number in your school, will there be multiple people with the same index number? If you take a school scenario, maybe what school are you going to? Go to your school tomorrow, go to the office, and find out another person, like two people who have the same index number, will you first? Or same admission number, or same student number, or whatever your name, your school names. But you are going for 10 to 11 years of school, and still you don't know that index number, admission number is unique for a person. What were you doing the last 10 years of your school life, man? I'm seriously concerned, Rushta. Student number, admission number is unique, man. That's something, that's why it's called admission number. Every student, when they're at what they call registering for the school, they get a unique admission number. It's a unique number. So student number is something that's unique. Got it? Good question. What would be an example for a foreign key in the database? Okay, so basically foreign key is another table's primary key. The meaning of foreign key itself is basically another table's primary key. Another table's primary key. Another table's primary key. So if you want to find a foreign key, first of all, you should know what are the primary keys. Because if you know the primary key, finding foreign key is actually very easy. Okay. Now in the students table, we already found the primary key. In the students table, the primary key is actually student number. Okay. In the students table, the primary key is student number. This is the primary key. This is the unique field we have. Wait, but if two students join on the same day, okay, if two students join on the same day, are we talking about the, what do you call this one here? Are we talking about the date of admission here? It's a number, man. It's a number. It's unique. Even at the same exact time they register, they'll have two different numbers. It's something unique. Even if you take the Master Online website also, in your profile page, you have something for index number or admission number. So unique. It doesn't repeat. In subject table, you have to find the primary key. Out of subject core and subject, what do you think out of these two fields? Which field do you think is the primary key here? The subject table. Okay, I'll tell you some more parameters about primary key. Apart from primary key being a unique field, another one more thing we have about primary key is we always make sure that, I mean, apart from making sure primary key is not repeating, another unspecified characteristic. Again, we don't mention it in louder, but one more characteristic we expect from a primary key is the primary key value should be a value that will never change. Because if it changes, there could be problems that can happen. So primary key should be a value that will never easily get changed. Like the probability for changing should be like very less, either no or less. Okay. So normally whenever we are using a primary key, we always keep the primary key value as something that will never ever get changed or modified. If you take subject name, it won't get modified easily. But if you're asking me, is it possible? Then yes, it is possible. For example, if you take your school, in school, we don't call Sinhala as Sinhala. The subject called Sinhala is not called Sinhala. If you take the current textbook, Sinhala is called as Sinhala Language and Literature. The subject called Sinhala that's named as Sinhala Language and Literature. So let's say the school decided to come and change the name of Sinhala, the name of the less subject. Let's say they decided to change the name from Sinhala to Sinhala Language and Literature. So even though easily it doesn't change, for subject names, is it possible to change practically? Yes or no? Yes. For example, you take A-level maths. Now, nowadays, we have A-level maths as combined maths. But back then, it was not called combined maths. Back then, they had two different subjects. Back then, it was there's pure maths and applied maths. It was two different subjects. But today, we don't have applied and pure. We don't have separately. We have it as one subject called combined maths. So if you're asking the subject names that is change, yes, they do change. You think subject name is not suitable, but subject code that will never change. That's a code for every subject. For every subject, there's going to be a number. So that's going to be something that's fixed, unique. There's no purpose to change it. So here we can take subject code as a primary key. Make sense? Won't they change the code if they change the subject name? No. Why should they change the code? There's no purpose. No. No one will even know the code. Now, for example, if I ask you what is the code for a subject, do you know the codes? In your oral paper, in every oral paper, in the top, they have subject code. Do you know the subject codes of all the subjects? No. But you will know the name of the subject. So people don't remember the code. That's not used in communication purpose. Okay. So to find foreign key, what we do is first of all we find the primary key and see is the primary key mentioned in other table. So tell me the student number field which we have here, the same student number, do I have it in any other tables? Apart from having student number and students table, do I have students number in any other tables? Which table? Exactly. So when the same field is mentioned in another table, it becomes a foreign key. So in the marks table, the student number here becomes a foreign key. Similarly, I found subject code as a primary key here, right? So do I have the subject code in any of the tables? Yeah. Again, marks table. So the primary key is mentioned in another table. In the other table, it becomes a foreign key. So the question is saying subject code in subject table. Subject code in subject table, that's a primary key. Marks in marks table, that's a normal field. Subject code in marks table, it's a foreign key. Date of birth in students table, that's a normal field. Okay. So these are primary key. These are normal field. These are also normal field. So the answer is the second one. But in the marks table, subject code is repeating, right? Did I tell foreign key will not repeat? Did I tell you foreign key will not repeat? No. Then what? If it's primary key only, it will not repeat. I never said foreign key will not repeat. For it, okay. How many marks did Kapila obtain for English? Did you get that answer? It is the you have marked on 70, right? Is that answer the answer you got? Let's see is it correct. Kapila. Kapila is 1003. So one English is 3. 1003 for 370. Yes, correct. You go and find Kapila's index number first. That's 1003. But a subject code for English, that's 03. So subject student number 1003, subject code 3, the marks is 70. So yeah, that's you just have to go through all three tables and find the answer. Is that clear, Rishta? Okay. Then part two question I'll be doing separate because I'll be doing it next week. I'll be doing a full question then same question. So I'll teach that next week or the week after next. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions? Recording and the tunes. Tunes, okay, they send it. Surey, basically, you wanted me to send it to Akila's number, right? Yeah, Hannah. No, Suraya. No, Rushta, because as soon as the physical class is over, I'll be running for the online class. Basically, I got a number from your sister's number, right? Which is Akila's number, right? I doubt Rushta because I'll be running. You're a dry text in WhatsApp. I don't even check messages, man, easily. Which number? You sent a message, you said, right? Whose number you sent it from? I have saved the number and kept as Akila. Who is Akila? How do you know her? You should have asked questions about how do you know from me when I have a big Google. If I don't have it, was number only, should be concerned. How do you have your number? Anyways, I'll send Akila. I mean, I'll send Surya after class. Magic, magic. She will not know. Anyways, with that, we're done for the day. I'll meet you all next week, Surya. I'll WhatsApp you the PDF and the things. Okay. What's the magic? It's my magical powers.